right. This is exciting stuff here in the world of make-believe Funland, that world that we like to call the Geeky Gamer Podcast Indie RPG live play game. I'm going to get more energy every single word that I say. It's just going to get the most energy ever. Thanks, all lowercase letters, Mr. Trump Ford. The music and Couchfire Media for the production and Twilight Relay Productions for everything else. This is Geeky Gamer Podcast live play. Am doing my best.
The Adderall is kicking in.
Golly, all at the same time. All
right. So we shall introduce ourselves again. We'll start with, let's start with Miller. So introduce yourself, who you are, and then your character.
Yeah, I'm Miller, and I've been gaming for like more than 3 decades. I always like helping out with new projects, testing rules and mechanics and stuff. I do a little bit of game publishing of my own, and my character is Clem, who is a Miroshi from the Expanse. He's a big brute warrior in the city right now.
Totally in your element.
Right. Perfect.
Actually, in a weird way, kind of. All right, and how about Miller? I'm sorry, you're Miller. How about John?
Yep, hi, I'm John. Role playing for, 20, 25 years. Published my own game. Character is Connor Carleth. Don't know how to pronounce it properly, but I think the race is Doine or something. Yep. So yes, I'm the hopefully most scoundrelous of the team.
And how about Ken?
I am playing catch up to that intro. My character's name is Bob Baker. I guess he was a baker until he ran into a radioactive slime that took him to a different dimension, the world of Craster from the world of Earth, America, USA, and now he's a knight in shining armor lizard person.
Right. You're a Buteau. So
a Buteau.
You're
Yeah.
more of a dragon kind of dude. All right. So let's do a little bit of recap. I'll start and I'll pass it off to you guys to basically fill in the gaps. So the last game, you guys entered Coblix, which is the sort of seat of power of the Western Kingdoms, the Northwest Kingdoms. The world is very big. It's a big world, right? You're on the northern continent, and no one empire yet controls the whole continent. But the Western Kingdoms make a pretty good go for it. You've entered Coblix because the king and the queen have called adventurers. So it's pretty generic in that regard, but the reason they've called adventurers is because the sort of signs of the times, climate change has started pretty much. And this has been prophesied, it's been warned against for a very, very long time, that eventually the world, Craster is what it's called, will start to have problems. And the great alchemists of yore foretold this. So they created these massive machines called Theurgic, and they're throughout the world. You might be going through the Expanse and just see a big structure, and you just know that that's Theurgic, right? In that time, people have pretty much forgotten how it works. They've forgotten how to fix it. And so the king and the queen of Coblix have had this large call to adventure. You guys heeded the call, and you brought yourselves before them, and you're charged with going to find Theurgic and to find information about it and knowledge about it. And depending on what you bring back, the manner in which you bring it back, that will be the reward. So the sky's the limit in a lot of ways. Right. We'll leave it there for my recap, and we'll go to you guys. Kind of like, what do you remember your characters doing, or just seminal events that are popping out in your minds? So we'll start with John.
Start off tavern
Connor,
waiting
I should
to
say.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Started in a tavern, waiting for our turn to go in the gates. We, as a group, effectively pushed our way through the queue. Got let in. Spoke to the queen.
Nice lady.
Asked us, how are we worthy? We all gave good answers. She accepted them. And then charged us with going out to find this Theurgic. And then we headed out, met a bard who the dragon, I can't remember the name of Bob, obviously. Bob started chatting to some Irish inspired bard who we've recruited.
Yeah?
I think that's
Pretty
where
good.
we are. Yeah.
How about Clem?
Yeah, from Clem's point of view, there's way too many people trying to see the queen, so we just went in front, as is our right. And so we barged in there, talked to the queen. She needed a little convincing. We convinced her. One of the guards was in the way. He got knocked over when I turned around. I think he's angry. Yeah, but then we left, and Bob Baker started chatting up Ichabod, the bardish guy, who agreed to join us, which I think is Glenn thinks it's a good thing, because he really doesn't have much of an idea on where or how to find any of this technology.
And how about Bob? Bob the Knight.
Yeah, Bob the Knight, I don't remember a ton from last session other than just kind of brutalizing people. But then there was a moment where everybody thought and it had an expectation of Bob to be one particular way, and then he code switched and became a little bit eloquent instead of the beast snake man that he is. So he's like the hacker with a heart of gold, because he hacks people in half.
I get it. You will die in a fire game. Continue.
So yeah, I think everything that they said that makes a lot of sense. We went to see the queen, we got a mission, we met Ichabod, and I think we're planning on solving the mystery, getting the Theurgic, getting the details, so we can come back and save our world from certain doom.
Yeah. Excellent. So for that recap, everyone will get an XP.
Ooh.
This is something the Arbiter can just deal out.
Sweet.
A little bit of reminders on some of the rules, and also since this is a playtest and you guys gave some excellent feedback and whatnot, I'm going to say it, although I know you know it. So you guys are currently at the curse level 1, which is the lowest it can be. You have no tallies of curse. It's a good place to start. When you take actions, there are 5 actions you can take, and several of those actions increase the cursed tallies, and pretty much every 2, the curse level goes up by 1. I won't go too much into it because I know you guys know the rule. But once you make that action, it's up to you to resolve the curse. So folding that, how does that curse affect the fiction? And if you don't want to do that, then the arbiter, me, rolls a die and potentially a random type of curse resolves. Okay, your 5 actions are actually on your character sheets. So there's metagame, do nada, role play, sit back, and take charge, which I won't go into. You guys know all about it. New rule. So this game was only played in rounds, but that gets a little pedantic, for lack of a better word, a little mechanical. So there's 2 ways to play it. One, you're in the world. This is where we're mostly going to exist. When you're in the world, you do what you want. You don't take any actions mechanically. You just say what your character does. You role play. You move around. This is a time for montages. It's a time for role play. You can affect the fiction however you want. It's just when you want to force something on the fiction. For example, I want to kill that guy, right? That's when you might drop into rounds. And in rounds, everyone has to declare an action. The curse goes up and down. And that's where the actions take place. So by and large, it's up to the players when we go into rounds, because it's when you want to force the fiction into what you want it to do. The arbiter can make it happen. For example, if you're like, I want to climb that mountain, just as an example, the arbiter might say, oh, that's a good place for some mechanics to come in. We're going to go into rounds. So you have to take charge to do that, for example. Or the arbiter could say, cool, you start climbing the mountain, right? You can still make rolls in the world. They're by and large reaction type stuff. So for example, lightning storm hits. There's lightning everywhere. Everybody make corpus rolls. You're not in rounds, okay? You're still in the world. So rolls can exist in the world, but you're not in rounds yet. Does all that make sense? And then we'll play it and see if it sucks. All right. You guys have met Ichabod, is his name. He's a bit bardish. Has something akin to an Irish accent or whatever I can attempt. And, seems kind of like a nice guy. He is not Doina or Dinna. He is what's called an Ardavak. So he's kind of like an elfy forest person. He's got the hair that's just a poof. It comes down. It's all frizzy and whatnot. He's lithe, a little bit shorter than most of the people, very much shorter than most of you. Myroshi is being really tall. How tall is Clem?
6'8". I started as 6 feet, rolled a d8, got an 8.
He's big boy. And what about Bob? How tall is the Buteau?
I'm thinking he's 7'2".
Yeah. So you guys are like basketball players hanging out. And then you've got Connor, which he's a Denna or Doween, however you want to pronounce it. How tall is he?
What's the range? I mean, what's typical?
It's pretty much human-ish range.
Oh, right. Well, we'll say 5'10" then.
Yeah. So you're pretty tall. Ichabod is about 5 feet. Ardavak literally translates, and you guys can know this in character or not. It's up to you. It translates to tall dwarf. Okay? So they're tall and lean. And when I say dwarf, I'm not talking about Lord of the Rings. I mean like kind of old school people of the forest type stuff. So that's who he is. He's got some quirky mannerisms. His social skills are on point, but he stares a little bit too long. He smiles at times that maybe you shouldn't. Is it off-putting? I think he's more eccentric. at this point. But that's kind of the general vibe of him. As you guys start to, you're leaving this tavern, and there's fanfare all over the place. Streamers are coming down from the walls. You're still within the city. You're in the lower ward. Kind of a downward slope through this cobblestone, taverns and inns and all the medieval et ceteras on either side. Lots of wood buildings. Downward slope, out ahead of you, the winding street. People all throughout. In the distance, the port of call and the sea. This is a western sea. Brisk air, etc. So, Coblix is a city on an island. It's kind of like Liverpool. Actually, it's very much like Liverpool, right? So northwest, kind of in England, right? Is that right? Yeah. And it's a port.
Yeah.
So the question is, where do you go? Now, you guys are at a disadvantage because you don't really know the world, right? But I'll give you some answers. You got ships you can get on. There are airships as well, so you could get an airship. Or you could go over land. There is a bridge outside of Coblix to get to the other side where the mainland is, DaLune. Okay? At present, you kind of don't have a direction. So that's kind of the setup. You all are walking with Ichabod. There's a few people looking at you. You are adventurers that have your... Did you get an official seal from the Queen? Or any
Probably.
token?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think I forgot this. All right, so let's decide what you got. You can have a fancy necklace that has like an amulet. You could have official papers like the letter of marque that has a a seal of the monarch. You guys could each have like a ring that says, "Yo, check it out." Ooh. What is it that you all want to have gotten? Fairy dust in the face, you sparkle in the sun. What is it?
Ring.
Yeah, you're all cool with the ring?
I like the idea of the ring.
Yep.
So you guys have like a big official ring. We'll say that it's made of this special metal, unobtainium. No, it's called valorum. Valorum is it's an alchemical metal. It's very difficult to make. It's nearly indestructible, and it's got purple veins that kind of go through it. Think of titanium. Think of George R.R. Martin, the Valerian steel. It's kind of got that hue to it, and it'll have the arcane markings all over it and be really cool. So you all have that as a piece of your ninja gear. Sorry, your equipment. I call it ninja gear in Dreadlord. All right. As you're moving through, the action is on you all. You're in the world.
Okay, so we've been charged with finding or rediscovering Theurgic. As far as I know, there are landmarks around the area where huge hunks of machinery can be found poking out of the ground, or sides of mountains or stuff like that. Are any of these sort of locations nearby? Because we could delve into the earth around these mechanical monoliths and see if there's anything to be discovered there.
Ichabod will be standing there.
Or out
As-
character. Oh.
He's listening to you and whatnot. As he says, "Well, actually, yeah. I mean, on the mainland side, you'd have to cross the bridge, but in the western mountains there's I think there's a few structures that way, but there's brigands and such as well."
I'm not afraid of brigands. I like
Can we
brigands
afford an
for
airship?
breakfast.
Can we afford an airship? We'd get a much better view of the area.
Mhm.
Save
Can
ourselves
you
some
afford
time.
one? Ichabod looks around. Yeah. How much money do you guys have? Do you have any ninja gear? Now, I'm not just going to call it ninja gear. How much coin do you have? Did anyone roll that, or are
Nope.
you technically
No, I don't
broke?
think.
Okay, perfectly
don't think we
fine. So
know.
we're going to deal with it. We're going to deal with the idea that you all have something in your coin purse. The idea is, you have enough, like baseline. You have enough to, get some ale, get a room for a few nights, general pocket change. So under your equipment, or if you want to be cool, call it ninja gear, put pocket change.
Mm.
This is general expenses. You're not going to buy like a sword with it, but basic stuff you can do. Now, this is not technically in the source book, but I'm going to throw it in there because it works for this and I want to play test it. When it comes to equipment like that, let's say you had a sword and you're like, I want to trade this sword for an airship ride. You can, of course, barter. This is medieval type stuff, right? Let's say you have that pocket change and you're like, I want to buy that sword. Maybe it's enough, right? So if you can make that work, you mark the pocket change off. You don't have it anymore, but now you have the sword. So it's a little bit ad hoc-y, but you can buy stuff in that way and kind of go beyond your means in that way. All right, let's find out how much money you have. So I do not want to assail you with a lot of terms, but this is essentially how money works. A coin is a week's worth of labor. That's of wages. Okay? So a coin, it's like a big piece of precious metal. That's a week's work of labor. So what people do is they cut the coin up into bits. So normally you're paying with bits. Does that make sense? Think of bottle caps in like one of those video games. Little bits of coin. So if you have a whole coin, that's like a Bitcoin, but in medieval times, right?
Mhm.
And then you have other denominations. There's a gem, there's a stone, there's a talent, and that's a lot of money. So we're going to see how many coins, how many weeks worth of labor you guys have. So roll a d12.
All right, before we do that, I did just notice on my sheet, I think it came from whatever background I picked. I do have a bag of bits. It's a 21 days labor worth of coins.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So roll that, and that'll tell you how much, or you have 21 days?
Yeah, that's what it said, 21 days
boom, you
labor
got that.
worth of coins.
Also roll a d12, and we'll see if you're a high roller. And this is how many? 9? So you have 9 coin. Okay? Which is a good amount of cash. What about the rest of you?
I have 3. I am a big spender, and I spend my money freely.
And how about Connor?
So I don't ever have any money.
5.
Yeah. So these are coins. You typically do not pay with a whole coin. That's a week's work, okay? Normally you chop them up. Now, if you wanted to buy an airship or something, that's when you're getting into like maybe 10, maybe 50 coin, okay? Depending on what you're doing. Just to kind of give you a little bit of a sense. We'll be fluid with this. It's not that big of a deal. Point is, you guys have enough money to travel for sure. So as Ichabod is looking, maybe you kind of have your coin purses, and he's like, oh, I picked the right group, didn't I? I was wondering, since y'all are well-to-do, would you mind paying me tab? It's not that much at the tavern back here. It'd go a long way.
What kind of coin we talking about here?
I've been staying there for free for a while.
Well,
Surely we
here's
can pay for it when we come back. If we're leaving, it's not a concern. Then it's only concern when we come back. So yeah, when we get back, when we return.
As you're walking down the cobblestone, he'll turn and you'll see there's like a couple dudes back there. They're like watching him. They're like toughs, you know, like big burly dudes. And he's like, and they kind of look at each other and walk back in as you guys continue. So then, we've got the airships that way. We could go by sea if you want, or we could do a jaunt and the cheaper way, the Highland way. Let's just go over the bridge.
I think we take a walk. You know, just to get our bearings, maybe see the land a little bit. But I'll defer up to you guys. You're clearly Connor's the smart one.
I wouldn't go that far. But yeah, go for a walk.
As you all are walking, you get down to the port of call, and you're taking the main streets. This is the Royal Road, which leads directly to the boardwalk. And you're going around. You see a whole slew of ships, the docks, way off to your right. So that would be basically north. You see the island bending around. There's a big hill, a massive light tower on there. In the distance, it's daytime, midday. I think we said it was around noon-ish. We'll say it about then. You see some airships in the distance. Ships also. And you start walking around. Most everyone here is Denna, or DaLune, however you'd like to pronounce it. Most of them are Silta DaLune. So they've got sort of an auburn, ruddy hair, going to and fro, doing all manners of business. Here and there, you'll see people that kind of look like Ichabod. Maybe they're of much shorter stature. Think of like hobbits, and then people that are similar to him. In a blue moon, you might see a Myroshi, and I think we rolled to say that there's pretty much like one other Zunth in this city right now. As you go around, not too much time has passed. You can see the mainland in the distance. It's a few miles away. You see this massive Valorum bridge built who knows how long ago that stretches across and allows you to reach the mainland. Tall mountains, the Western Mountains, and the range that just runs down the train of DaLune south. You see over the mountains, it looks like maybe campfires or smoke. It's black, pretty distant. You see that. As there's a tremor in the ground, a minor earthquake. Everyone kind of stops. For a moment, there's just silence. This has happened here and there, maybe once a day, once every other day, as people kind of shrug it off, and that general air of anxiety is just a little bit tinged as you guys continue.
Do the mountains, do they look like they're like on fire? Like on fire?
Perhaps this is inspired of recent events.
Perhaps.
As you look, Bob, we're going to still be in the world, right? So you don't need to take an action for this. We don't need rounds for this. But I will have you make a roll. So we'll do a men's roll, a mental roll, and see if you can, by looking at the smoke, can you kind of figure out what it is? Is it odd? Is it not? Etc.
I got two
successes.
2 successes. I got a 5 and a 6, which is
all you need is 1. As you look up, you can tell there's definitely a fire. It's black smoke, meaning that it's burning, fuel. And from this distance, you can tell it's probably a big fire. I mean, it's not taking up the entire mountain range by any stretch, but there is a fire that's likely like a brush fire over the hill, over the mountains.
Do you guys think that maybe that's the, whatever the mechanics that are maybe messing up the way that we're supposed to find the mechanics or the whatever it is that we're supposed to find. Maybe that's what started the fire.
It may be. We should go check it out. We were headed in that general direction anyway.
I agree.
Ichabod kind of is. He's behind you guys a little bit, and remember, he's 5 feet. Looking around, at the giant people around him. So we're going there. That's okay. All right. Just seems a little nervous.
Yeah, I think maybe I'll stick with Ichabod here, because do we want to lunge headfirst into a fire? Maybe.
No. It's fine.
We can
Listen,
skirt round.
I can hang tough with y'all.
I mean,
I was thinking about me. Oh.
Well, we can get a closer look at least.
Yeah.
As you amble that way, you get out of the city. The sun is up. It's high. At this point, noon 30 or so. You're feeling, the sun on your backs. Those of you that sweat begin to. Those of you that are of the reptilian bent are probably in heaven. We'll say it's a good 75 degrees out right now. So for the Brits, what is that, like 32? Is that right? Is that hot?
No idea.
Is that way hot?
No, that is 32 is like summer hot. Like that's like 100 degrees, I think. I could be wrong.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought 100 was like 40 degrees.
Well, I got
how hot is 32?
I'll tell you.
Connor.
75 is 23 degrees Celsius.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then you're totally right. Yeah, it's 23. It's not hot at all. It's fine. You're fine. You're dying. You're lava. Anyway, as you start going, you see the Valorum Bridge. Think of sort of a Golden Gate type thing, but it's made of Valorum. People going to and fro. Another tremor, just very slight. Doesn't seem to mess with the bridge at all. And out before you, fields, farmlands that lead all the way up as far as the eye can see to the mountains. As Ichabod will sort of anecdotally say, since y'all are new here and you need some exposition, there's all sorts of farmland all around, and even on the other side of the mountain. He kind of looks up, and as we get closer, maybe some of them farms are on fire.
I'm sure
As
they'd
you continue on.
like some help putting it out at the very least. Gets us going in a direction, I think.
At the end of the bridge, there's kind of like a mini bazaar, right? So people that have their wares all set out in like towels and pitched tents, sort of traveler people are there, and they're selling all manner of whatever you could imagine. It's this side of the bridge. It's outside of the official city and whatnot, so they're maybe allowed to do it. Of course, there are guards. I haven't mentioned any guards. Just guards on the other side. And they're hey, come over here in every language you could imagine. Look at this, like a chain shirt. It looks like something fancy. Do you all stop? Do you just keep on going?
Yeah, I think I want to stop and just pick up some traveling supplies.
Sure.
Since we didn't do that in the city.
There's plenty of it. There's like a fresh food, since there's all those farmlands. There'll be a farmer's market. This is going to go for like a good quarter mile of a bazaar. Okay. It's pretty big. So yeah, what would you like to find? And you likely will find it.
Need some like traveling rations, hardtack kind of thing.
Yep. So traveling provisions, you can put that down. And you're using
Tent or some sort of material for bivouacking.
For beaver whacking?
Bivouacking. Tents.
What's a... Oh.
Camping.
I had no idea what that was. Right on, dude. Yeah, you can absolutely get that. and you'll get an XP for the new word.
And if there's any beavers that need mauling,
And you get a mallet.
chuck that-
Specifically for beavers too.
I would like to pick up some Gatorade to stay thirsty because I'm
To
kind of
stay
like
thirsty.
I mean to stay well Gatorade doesn't quench thirst. It kind of replenishes the salt, you know.
Are you being punny again because you're a reptile guy?
I think so. Maybe a little bit. But it's gonna
Yeah,
stay.
Yeah, sure. You get, they have that here. They have this wonderful thing called Gatorade. Comes in a flask.
Maybe a
Has
few little
rudimentary dragon on it.
maybe a few little if somebody gets cut in a battle or something, maybe some medical bandages and a splint or something.
You get some gauze and sort of a little first aid type kit.
Yeah, a little first aid.
Yep.
Kit.
As you guys are using, some of your change to do this. I think I called it bag of bits.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say provisions. Your general traveling, what's the word I'm looking? Coin purse stuff. I need a word for that. What's a good word for that?
Word for what?
Traveling change. No.
I like the pocket change. I like
Pocket
coin.
change. Yeah, usually use your pocket change for it.
Yeah, you got the
No
coin.
problem. None of this is very expensive.
I'll mark it from 3 coin to 2.5 coin. I don't know.
As you're sitting there, or standing there, waiting on this very lovely artifact, right? A wild-looking, sort of Irish traveler looking woman, just beautifully dark hair, piercing blue eyes, big wedding ring, right? Clem, as she's sitting there, she's looking at you, and she's got that wild look, like an untamed savage. For you, all of these people are kind of sort of savages for the Myroshi. And maybe her helpers are putting things together. So where are you going, big man?
Probably that fire over there.
Oh, you're going that way? Huh. She kind of thinks about it. She does not stroke her beard. But I do. Oh, right. There's some dangers that way you should be aware of.
Is there a safer way around? Do you know?
Normally, the King's Road, this is the one you're following, goes through the pass, down south, down towards Sut and Westick. Normally, it's fairly well ridden as travelers, but as of late, there's been some bandits, people who follow a man called Olo, and they've been making trouble for the farmers and up in the hills. Just be careful on your way. Since you're buying so much, I figured I would tell you that.
Appreciate it, ma'am.
She's kind of giving you the eyes, but you're not giving her, and that's making her a little bit more bold. Will you be coming back this way?
Hope so.
Kind of nods. People looking around, and you get your provisions. As you're not entranced by this woman, we'll say, Clem, you happen to notice a person watching you. And not just you, kind of anytime that Connor comes up or Bob, you guys you've split off and you're doing your own things, but you kind of reconvene and, discuss how long you need and that kind of stuff. Where's the shitter? Someone goes, takes a shit, whatever. there's someone that's kind of followed you here and there, and it's at this point you're pretty certain this person either wants to talk to you or is following, kind of at a distance. I shall describe him soon. Looks like a mystic. Looks like a learned type person. They are the same race as Connor, so they look like a Dinah, like everybody else, but they've got the sibling look. So the pointed ears, the sort of pearly kind of skin, maybe a little sickly, wearing robes, traveling accoutrement, but looks more like a scholarly, maybe an alchemist, maybe a theurgist. Well, you don't know. I'll leave it there.
Cool. Yeah. So what Clem will do? He's gonna go get some kind of street food, something on a stick, turkey leg.
You get it.
And turn, and when I see him, walk right over to him.
Yeah, as you
Take
do,
a bite out of it.
this,
Sorry.
acting like he's reading the paper,
Yeah, I'm gonna keep focused straight on his eyes. Get right in front of him. Take a big bite. Squat down to his eye level. And while chewing, you got something to say to me? Or are you just gonna watch me walk around all day?
His mouth is obviously very dry. I was wondering if you and your party needed a tinkerer.
What would we need a tinkerer for?
As he kind of like slowly, and he drops a couple of his, like the papers, it literally is a newspaper. And he slowly reaches into his robes. Really quick, do Connor and Bob, do you see this? Are you aware of it? You don't have to.
I mean, I've got a. I don't really identify with any of these people because they're not really like all demo look the same, and so like I just see somebody standing near like somebody that is my friends that looks weird. So I'm paying attention, but I'm not. Oh. He's not a threat. So.
All right. And Connor, are you aware of it, or are you off doing something else?
I'll have one eye on what I'm doing, and one eye always on the two outsiders. So if Clem starts wandering off, I'll be more concerned with what possible mayhem could then ensue. But if I see him talking down to someone, and I mean, does he look like he's in trouble, or he's about to cause a fight, or anything like that?
Clem, do you look like you're about to start a fight?
Or if you're intimidating anyone?
I'm definitely being intimidating, but I don't think we're starting a fight. Like I squatted down to his eye level, so
yeah,
that's unusual. I'll finish what I'm doing, and then I'll quickly meander over.
Okay, Ichabod will be next to. Let's see, he'll be next to you, Connor. Just sort of following you. He's just at your right.
Okay.
As this guy answers you, he's reaching in his robes as he pulls out a piece of Theurgy, an item of Theurgy, I should say. He pulls out something that is very difficult to describe because you don't know what it is. It's a ring, so think of like an anklet or a bracelet. Too large for him. It's made of some kind of metal-looking substance. Perhaps they're runes. There's some sort of etch marks that are softly glowing blue. This piece of technology is strange. It has odd markings on one end. For the out of game, it's something that, how would you describe to someone from the Renaissance a piece of advanced tech, right? So you're actually looking at like circuits and such. And those things that are glowing are like LEDs.
So it looks a bit like filigree.
Yeah, this is not cheap looking. Okay, it's very sturdy. It looks like a piece of something. As he pulls this out, he says, "Well, I'm a tinkerer, and I collect and know things."
So did you make that, or did you find it?
No. I found it. But as he points at your ring, you're sanctioned by Queen Helena and King Leus.
Yeah.
As he kind of like holds this thing. Well, if I could go with you, then I could be sanctioned too, and I think I could be of help.
You know where to get more of that stuff?
He kind of looks. Okay. We will go into rounds. All right. So everyone needs to take an action. As we're going to start with Clem, since you're sort of pushing this forward, what's the action you want to take here?
Role play.
Awesome. Go for it.
So you think you can help us find more of that to bring back?
I think so. I think so. So I know who knows.
And who might that be? I'll have wandered over by this point.
He kind of looks over at you, seeing your ring and whatnot, and he's been watching you guys, so he knows you're a party. Well, as he gets close, have you heard of the mountain, the Eye of God? So what action are you going to take, Connor?
Take charge, make a roll to see if I do know of this Eye of God.
All right.
So,
and when you take charge, you get a bit of trait.
So I'm thinking if I have skill in teaching, that would probably be a good idea to have traits in fields of expertise. So
Sure.
I'm a rambler, so I'm thinking
you could be educated.
So cartographer. Could I be a cartographer? Would that be a trait?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll stick that on there.
About
So,
maps?
yep. So I know how to read them, draw them, and extensive knowledge of
as you did cartographer.
the area.
So go ahead and roll men's aspect.
Okay.
And because you're rolling, so normally threshold 0, you just bid the trait and you do it. So because I'm making you roll, threshold is 1. So you need to meet it or beat it. You need at least 1 success.
Okay. So when I bid cartographer or cartography, obviously I use that.
Yeah.
What do I get from that? Do I get do I get a bonus?
No.
To what I roll, or
when you take charge, you just have to use a trait, and it's exhausting. Yeah. So your bonus successes would come from your bond would give you a die. Your obsession would give you 1 success, and a skill would give you 2 extra successes.
All right. I'm not teaching, so that skill's not relevant. Hawkshaw and Odysseus, no. Okay. So I got 1 success on the 2d6.
Meet it, beat it. As you're sitting there,
Yeah.
the specific knowledge you're looking for, you've definitely heard of the Eye of God, but you know it's not called the Eye of God. That is just something that people, like a random person might say. It's actually called Oculo de Dio, which means Eye of God.
Okay.
It is supposedly a mountain that no one knows where it is. And it's filled with technology.
Right. Okay. Then in character, I'll look down to this tinkerer and says, "You're telling me you know where to find the Oculum Deus?" I can't remember that. Or you know someone who's been there?
He kind of wide eyes looks at you. Okay, so Clem, how do you resolve your curse?
The piece of turkey leg I was chewing on, a chunk of it accidentally flew out of my mouth onto his shirt.
He kind of like looks and, puts the slime off, and then And what about you, Connor? How are you resolving your curse?
Now, do I generate a case if I take charge? Because I generate.
You do. Generate 1.
Yeah, so I can't resolve that, can I? Because it's.
You can. Yeah. So when you take, whenever you take an action, it might increase the curse. It might not. It might decrease it. Regardless of the action you take, you have to resolve the curse.
All right.
And right now it's very, very low. So it's like an inconvenience or just an anecdotal type thing.
All right. Just looking at the actions, when I said I'll take charge, effectively what I've done is bid a charge to passively change the fiction. So that was more of a role play rather than take charge, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So instead of giving an automatic +1 curse, it would give me +1 XP, but then I still need to. I'm not like trying to rules lawyer. I'm just trying to get my head around.
No, it's perfect. I love it.
What the difference? So take charge is really confrontational, isn't it? Like whether it's social combat, physical combat, trying to accomplish something, while roleplay is just simply getting involved. And as you described on the character sheet, passively change the fiction.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're on. How would I?
And if you don't know how to, it's fine. I just roll randomly. And the idea is, so long as it's not a 1, there's a chance that nothing happens. And that's kind of how it works.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, other than sounding like I'm condescending to him, but I don't really see how.
All right.
No, I wouldn't try to resolve. I'll let you roll because it's entirely on the character.
So I rolled a 6, so no curse happens. So on those lower curse levels, you don't have to make things worse for yourself, right? It's more on the higher curse level. That's where it's like, well, it's likely to happen, so you might as well decide how it happens. Awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll choose roleplay.
Okay.
And I would let. I'm going to talk to the tinkerer. Does the little man have a name? If you're going to go into the bandits and you want to join our team, I would. The territory with all the dangers and stuff. I would like to know the name of the people that I fight with.
Oh, you're going. As he points towards the fires.
Yes.
He's still looking at Clem like is in front of him.
Well,
Yeah.
that depends if you can tell us where the Eye of God is.
We have to go that way. I know of a person that knows the location. It's where I got this. And my name is Cursedwood.
Cursed wood. That's a fine name. If you're a little man like you carrying around shiny little gadgets,
Well, I
would
can
you
take care
be
of myself.
what do you do that is tinkers? That sounds like bathroom time. What does that mean, tinkers?
As he kind of opens up more of his robe, and you see some elixirs, little vials, and like a lock picking case, and just bits and pieces. He's got a satchel and whatnot, and he says, "I can take care of myself." And he pulls out a gun. This gun is, think of like a DL-44 blaster, like a Han Solo thing. It's all dioded up. Think steampunky type stuff. It's old, it's rusted, looks like it's been tinkered with a whole lot. As he pulls out, obviously, a weapon.
The moment he draws a weapon, I'm moving back behind Clem.
No, I mean, he doesn't hold it like a warrior. Like he's like, right? Well, I can take care of myself. As he kind of puts it back on this holster that, it's cinched up tight. Probably he's found this stuff.
And when he opens his coat, I would like to resolve the curse by I'm gonna put my he's got his coat open I don't want to say it like a pedophile, but I reach in and I start tinkering with his because I'm a leather person and I want to see how does this all stay in place, and maybe one of the more inoculate potions he has kind of
slaps your hand and moves back a little bit.
That part.
Well, you get an XP. All right. As we're out of rounds, back in the world, Ichabod isn't really doing anything. He's just watching. I'll give you this. As Cursedwood looks over and sees Ichabod, who kind of smiles at him with his dumb smile. Since you guys did a lot of roleplay and whatnot, you get a little bit of an interaction there. Cursedwood just kind of looks at him and turns away pretty quickly. I'm gonna give you another roll. Clem, roll Mens or Animus. Since you're right there, literally talking to him, and you initiated it, we're gonna give you that roll.
Okay. No. 3, no success.
As you're sitting there, these people are strange, but you definitely see that there's some emotion that Cursedwood had towards Ichabod, but you can't really tell what it is. It's not necessarily negative. But yeah, that's what you're going to get. There's something there, but you're not sure what it is. As you guys are in the world, action is on you guys.
Cursedwood, who is it that you know can take us to the Eye of God?
Well, hold on. Before you answer that, why don't you go ahead and put all those things away and not pull them out in such a crowded area. Let's go out to the end of this crowd, and we can talk out there where there's no prying ears on us.
As you all start moving out, and in fact, maybe the rest of you look around and see that a lot of these people, not to be racist in my own world, but, they are looking, kind of talking to each other as you all move kind of out of the prying eyes of this bazaar. Go about a quarter mile out. You're out of the bazaar, just on the main road. As you can continue.
So who is it that you know can take us to Eye of God?
So, he kind of looks over his shoulder. No one's around. Obviously worried. I mean, I can tell you. I don't think you'll know the person. He doesn't want to tell you. I mean, if I tell you and you know, then you won't take me with you.
I personally don't believe you do know, because no one knows where the Eye of God is.
I know. Okay, I don't know where the Eye of God is, but I know who does.
An awful big claim.
I mean, where else are you going to go? You kind of catch a little sidelong glance at him, or as he smiles a little bit.
All I know is all this talking makes me thirsty, and I drink some of my Gatorade.
Ichabod's sitting there playing with rocks. He'll have his little lute out, strumming a little bit as he's like making up a little story to himself. Kind of childlike. He's not an idiot by any stretch, but he's a fae folk. So he's over there like in nature, like in kind of the tall grass, chilling out. You hear some of his music.
I'll start singing along in a lizard voice, best I can. It might annoy him a little bit.
You two make it work. So Connor and Clem, Cursed Wood has posited this to you. I mean, I could take your word for it that you'll allow me to come with you, but if I give you everything now, what's to stop you from just leaving?
What's to stop us from beating you to a pulp and taking everything you have right here and right now? And we'd still have the same amount of information we already do.
He kind of takes a couple steps back, not running away or anything, but listen, I could be of far more use to you than a punching bag. And also,
Forgive my friends.
He puts his hand on near the gun. I'm also not such a pushover.
Forgive my friend's abruptness. We have these rings. The Queen trusted us. And we can only hope that you would share her trust in us. If you can show us, or take us to the person who can guide us to Eye of God, then you have our word on behalf of the royal charge upon us that we will not beat you to a pulp, exploit you, or anything like that.
But if you're leading us into a trap or an ambush, you can guarantee it. You're not walking away.
As he kind of sits there, believing both of you. Meanwhile, let's see how good the music is. Bob, why don't you roll Animus? We're going to say music's a spiritual thing.
It is. Music is very spiritual.
It is.
That is a 0. I failed that. Not terribly, but it's still a 3 out of 4.
All right. Remember, you got your skills, your obsession, and your bond.
No.
If you want.
I feel like I enjoy singing poorly. That
right.
is kind of where I'm not a singer, but I want to be a singer. So it's like
we'll say
mighty, I am the dragon.
All right, we'll say that you'll get a trait then. So it's a free trait, and it has to do with that, how you want to word it.
Not a singer. Not an entertainer.
Not an entertainer.
Not
right,
a
so you
Joyce
guys
singer.
are in the
terrible
world.
music.
As you guys are in the
Absolutely.
world, Ichabod will pick himself up, and you start down the King's Road with Kirstwood relatively in the lead.
Mhm.
It's over the hill. We'll have to go about halfway through the pass and then take one of the goats' path east. So west will be the coastline and the sea. So we'll go south a little piece, and then we'll have to go into the foothills.
Can I? This is just during the long journey. I'll take out a series of maps that I've got and cross-reference them with what he's talking about. If there's anything that
I love it.
gaps in the maps, just
I love it. Gaps
just
in the map.
bits and pieces, yeah, along the way.
Yeah. Go ahead and we'll make a roll.
Oh, right, okay.
So remember, you can use, since you're making a roll, you can use your obsession, your skills, your bond. It's up to you.
Yeah, none of them are
And as
relevant.
you
I'll
have
just
the maps, you can make it. So this would
Okay.
be, if it's going for a gut feeling, it'd be animus. If it's more mental, looking at the maps, that intelligence, that'd be mens. So it's up
yeah,
to you.
definitely.
We'll
Men's,
say you're specifically looking for what with this?
yeah. No, this is just really to fill in the time of the long journey, stuff
Sure,
that my character
sure.
would be doing. It's
So
just
threshold 1.
2 successes. Also,
Use-
is there a
go on.
botch system?
I'm sorry?
Is there a botch mechanic?
No.
No. Okay.
Nope. Right now, there's no crits and there's no botching.
Okay.
So you see exactly what he's talking about. Obviously, the goat path is not on the map.
Is now.
I know. Do you see the mountain pass as it goes down? All of this is in the Dreadlord book in the world of Craster. As you can see, walking probably a good week's walk to get all the way down to Westick, which is the next kind of province, the southwesternmost province in DaLune. You would pass Black Rock, which is a sort of lonely mountain type place that you're not supposed to stay the night on. It's cursed, supposedly. But yeah, you guys will not get that far south. You'll be cutting over east through the western mountains into the foothills. This will be towards Reach, which, think of the Highlands, is what that is if you go more up north. So it gets rather mountainous and whatnot. All right. Meanwhile, as you guys are traveling, we're montaging a few days getting to through the pass before you actually get onto the Goat's Path. What are you guys kind of doing? Role play, it's up to you.
I want to, over the course of the time, talking to him, discussing maps, his knowledge. I want to check if there's any indication of he's bullshitting us. If it is, as Clem mentioned, he's just luring us into a trap because he's taking us to a remote area.
So we'll put a pin in that. Anything else that you guys are doing during this time before we go into that round?
I'm working with Ichabod, trying to hone my singing voice. So at the detriment, I'm sure, to the company.
Oh yeah, it's starting to echo in the pass. Absolutely. And
with reckless disregard to the bandits around, because I'm not afraid of no bandits.
Of course. And what about you, Clem?
Yeah, so Clem would have taken a skin from some game, like a squirrel, and fashioned himself a pair of earmuffs to block out the noise.
Yeah, you got that. Absolutely. Just in typical TTRPG fashion, let's see how well you did. So roll Corpus. And remember, you have your bond, you have your obsession, you have your skills if you want to add to it. The higher you get, the better they are.
Yeah, I don't have anything I can really add to it.
Yep.
Corpus is pretty good though. So it's 11 total. I forget how the successes work.
Yep. So successes are 4 to 7 is 1 success. 8 and up is 2 successes on a die.
Okay, so that's 2 successes.
Yeah, it's great. So 2 successes, you, over the course of a day or so, fashion some earmuffs, maybe stuff it with some grass or maybe some stuffing that you just happen to have. Lots of pocket lint, whatever, as you give yourself some earmuffs. And it works pretty well. You know, maybe you stay to the back a little bit and you're just not in front of the dragon. These guys will get closer to where the pass is. You're not in like a kill box by any stretch. You have plenty of room. So you see the mountain on your left, you see the mountains on your right. You're heading towards the pass. And you, at this point, you can see where maybe there's like little trinklings of waterfalls. Maybe you've drank from them. You can smell a little bit of that smoke. Just a hint of it in the air. There's a few goat paths that go up on either side, maybe shepherd's paths. Perhaps there's been some sheep you've seen, or like some mountain goats here and there. Maybe a couple days in. And this is when we're going to go into rounds to specifically deal with Connor's engaging this guy. So before we do, let's take a short break. Hit the head, refill your coffee or your bourbon or your whatever, and we'll be back in like 5-6 minutes. Is that cool?
Yep. Give it.
Oh, we're back.
We're back.
I might have cut Bill mid drink there.
It's fine.
But,
Fine.
we're back.
Fine. Not yet.
Surprise! Surprise! Surprise!
Surprise.
Are we drinking anything
All right.
before we get started?
I mean, what are you guys drinking?
I got a little bourbon, little Efpan Williams.
Hefan Williams. Yep. What about you, Miller?
Just some Diet Dr. Pepper.
Sweet. Clem is Miller. Connor is John. All right. Connor, what about you? I'm just going to use your real names. Connor. What are you drinking?
Cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
Nice.
What kind of tea?
Tetley's. I don't know if you
Yeah, I
get
know
that out.
Tetley's. Dude,
Huh?
I don't. Yeah, I actually have some Tetley's.
Wow, bloody hell.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, one of my buddies, he's a Derbyshire lad, dude named Walker.
Oh, yeah.
He's awesome. And he was like, I was like, what tea can I get? He's like, get Tetley's. He gets
Good
PG
choice.
tips.
PG tips. Yep.
Yeah,
Another
but
fine choice.
I couldn't find it out here, so.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, I'm drinking Kentucky water.
Yeah. What time is it there? Oh, it's afternoon. You're good.
Good afternoon. Listen, we're in our 40s. We
Yeah.
come on.
Nearly 5 o'clock here.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Okay, so as we start, you guys are in the world. You're moving through the Western Kingdoms, specifically through the Western Mountains. They were very creative in naming these mountains. The major pass is literally where you're going. You're on the King's Road. When you get towards the city, go on.
Oh, go ahead.
When you get towards the city, or the cities, the major settlements, you'll see guards. There's more through traffic. The King's Road is fairly well maintained. It's dirt, but you can see maybe like once a week, maybe once every other week, it's fixed. So like where the potholes are and all the rivulets that occur from the mountain drainage, people actually do come out here, and it's fairly well maintained. There are parts that aren't. Not to wax too granular about that. That said, you are at a part which does feel a little bit more dangerous. We'll say it's early in the morning. You've just broken camp, broken your fast, cleaned up your what fors and have yous, your tents and such. You haven't seen travelers in maybe the last day or two. And it's about this time, Connor, you have been talking to Kirstwood here and there. Maybe at night even checking your maps just to make sure he's on point.
Yeah. Yep.
I said we were gonna go into rounds, but actually I'm gonna drop into actually what the source book will say. I like the idea that yes, the Arbiter can call for rounds, but I like the idea of it's kind of a choice on the players. So you're trying to do something here. You're trying to find out, is this guy full of shit? Right?
Yep.
It's on you. Now, if you take an action, we're in rounds and everybody takes an action and we deal with the cursed.
Okay.
Is there a way for you not to? It's going to be on you. If you take an action, you force this point. Otherwise, it's more surreptitious in the fluid. So I'm going to leave it up to you.
Okay. Well, the plan was, with as you say, traveling for several days, ask him plenty of questions, make notes of his answers, especially in areas which, if he's been to certain areas that I haven't been, such as the place that we're going to, and the next day recall a point but inaccurately, then see if he agrees or disagrees. Lots of subtle little things, so that if he disagrees and he maintains a story, then that's a check in
I love
his
it.
favor. But
little
just
trap.
so it's but it's very, very subtle. So that having one action to conclude it wouldn't be appropriate. It would be a case of I'm trying to get the measure of this guy over the course of several days. Because if I just say, right, you're lying, or anything like that, and he leaves, we're stuck in the middle of nowhere, and we still won't know if he's telling the truth or not. So it's not so much a direct, I'm trying to change the fiction. I want to learn if there is a fiction, so to speak.
I get it.
So it's
All right.
that's
So
if you want to make me a role, if there is a role to be made, it would be a case of the progress across the several days.
understood.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do, because you guys are in the world, and that's really the time for in-character stuff. You don't have to go in the rounds, but you got to do what you just did in character with the rest of them. As
Okay.
in, like, it's got to be a natural thing, right? So over the course of days, or perhaps whatever, how are you involving the rest of everyone? Or how are you not involving them? And I don't want you to tell me that out of game. I want it to be in game.
Okay. So we've just had breakfast, packing up our stuff, ready to go. So Cursewood, you mentioned that half a day up the goat track that we're just about to go through. You mentioned that there was a farmstead. This is not true, but in character. So yeah, what was the name of the person that you said we could possibly speak to?
As Cursewood kind of, he's stretching his back out and whatnot. Maybe he doesn't have his cloak on. You see his under tunic. This is a good opportunity if anybody wants to know something about the kinds of clothes he's wearing. You can make a men's roll to just have known it. So it's up to you. Do you need one success?
As a Buto that is obsessed with fashion, I definitely would like to.
I love it. That's definitely a trait, by the way.
take a gander.
Remember, you only have 24 traits, so so you are using.
Yeah, all right. I'm writing them down as you tell me.
I love it. Yeah. So go ahead and roll men's. As he's cracking his back. Farmhouse.
Yeah, you mentioned. Did you not mention?
He'll kind of look over at Clem. Clem, what are you doing?
I'll be close enough to listen in, but I'm just getting my stuff together, getting my stuff on, prepping my earmuffs, getting them back together,
fluffing them back up. Right. Ichabod will be actually he'll have cooked breakfast. So we'll say that you guys haven't quite eaten yet. He's got some sausages and maybe some of the meat that Clem you used for your earmuffs. As he's like cooking the last of that, salting it and whatnot, and he's handing it out as Cursewood says, Ichabod, could I have some of that? You notice, Clem, he's not looking at Ichabod. As Ichabod, oblivious, hands himself. He'll turn back to you, Connor. There are farmhouses in the foothills. There's the shepherds, mostly, husbandry and such. We're getting into, or we will be getting into the realm of the Highlanders, the people of Reach, the Northmen. But we won't be going past. I don't think, I'm not trying to say you're a liar. I don't think I said we would be stopping at any farmhouses.
No, my mistake. No, it's early. Just woken up. Still have got to eat, so not quite.
Do this.
My mistake.
Roll Animus.
Animus, right.
For this, you need 2 successes.
untrustworthy,
Remember your bond with your other players. Since this has to do with them, I could say you could use one of those.
Oh,
remember your obsession, remember your skill.
Yeah, okay. Well, I rolled a 5, and Klim is my bond.
Okay, so you get an extra die.
So that's an extra die. I thought that was an extra success.
The bond is an extra die. Obsession is +1 success. Skill is +2.
All right, I'll make a note.
The idea is you're rewarded for using your skills more than you are your obsession, but using your obsession, it's good.
+1.
Now, if you're using this bond in the fiction, how's that? You guys are gonna have to do something to make that work.
All right. Okay.
So let me give you a little start. Clem, as you're sitting there, you're packing your stuff up, and you're obviously paying attention to. They're right there talking. Maybe you catch Connor's eye, and what is that moment of that bond?
Well, what's in Connor's eye that Klim will see? That this guy's telling the truth, like he's kosher.
What do you say or what do you do? What's your behavior? Say it in game to Clem, or show it to Clem.
It'll be a side glance to Klim and a ever so subtle nod.
Cool.
And then a little bit of a grin as I'm explaining to Cursewood that still hungry, haven't woken up yet. My mistake. Apologies. Yeah,
No,
my mistake.
no apology necessary. Clem, you doing anything?
Yeah, I'll give him a little nod back to let him know I acknowledge that.
And how many successes did you get? Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
And then as I grab food, say, Ichabod, you're definitely earning your keep already.
Well, thank you. That's just it's a fine recipe my mother used to make. Field rabbit and salt, as he kind of does a flourish. I'm glad it's a little gamey. It's a little gamey. Kind of looks over at the dragon and throws him a piece. He's like,
You mammals taste good.
Yeah.
There's a moment of silence as everybody maybe looks.
So I'm gonna take that moment, and I guess I do want to bid take charge because I had a moment to kind of take a look at Cursewood. Oh, go ahead.
Right before you do, because that'll take us into rounds.
Oh yeah.
Let me finish up.
Yeah,
Connor. Connor, how many successes did you get?
I haven't rolled the second die, so second die okay for the bond with Klim?
Yep.
Okay. I rolled a 5 on the first die, so no, got a 2, so just 1.
Okay. As with one success, you know that your trap was not sprung. So it seems like he's telling the truth. He seems genuine. But you did get a success. Now, this is degrees of success. It's kind of sort of in the book, not really. It's not that you trust him or not trust him, but there is something. There's something.
Yeah.
It's not what you thought it was, obviously, but I don't know. Something maybe doesn't sit right, and you can decide what that is. Somehow, he hasn't proven himself completely trustworthy. We'll put it that way.
The way that you all played him seemed a bit odd.
Now, you tell me this out of game?
This is out of game.
No,
the way that
I
you
don't
all
care.
played him.
He doesn't care about things out of game.
I don't care about you out of game bullshit. All right. If it's in game, then awesome.
Unless it's a question about gameplay.
You know, yeah, it's about the way you role played him seemed quite odd.
I am doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
So out of game, I am role playing them as I'm trying to give you guys subtlety in that regard too. Yeah.
And that's different from previous mornings.
No, he's always a little off. He's always been a little off.
Definitely weird.
There's definitely something. Well, I won't describe too much. He's a little odd. Okay, taking charge. You want to drop in around to do what?
I want to because I bid fashion obsessed. I'm taking a look at because I'm interested in what's inside his cloak. And the way maybe he puts it on. I want to get some insight on how, because like I'm a fighter. I got a sword. I don't trust that he can hold his own.
I don't care why you're doing it.
Yeah,
I want to know what you're doing.
So I'm studying him, and I'm gonna use, and maybe I can get some idea of what kind of fancy leather work or whatever he uses to keep all his stuff inside. Like I want to understand his.
Okay, I would call this a role play action.
Yeah.
Unless you're physically doing something.
No.
Like,
well,
he cannot. Taking charge, I think, has more to do with is it difficult or is it being opposed? And right now, if you're just sort of looking, that's more of a role play type.
Yeah,
thing.
I'm intently looking to understand the way he does.
So with the role play action, Kurt does not go up. And what is the trait you're going to drop?
Fashion obsessed, and basically, I see the way you strap that on that way. How do you get to your little liquid things in there so good?
Oh, well, it's actually quite ingenious. As he pulls up the tunic, and you see, I'm gonna fucking pull this directly out of my ass, everybody. As you guys can help me out here, as he'll have kind of like a Witcher style setup, like under his tunic, he shows you he's got like suspenders and a belt, little harness type thing. As he puts on the robes, you see like they like cinch up here and there, and it distributes the weight of these bits and pieces that are like tucked away in the different pockets and the little strappings and such. We'll even say you can see that there's actually sewn into the robes little metal pieces that actually give him a little bit of armor.
But I'm real loud when I walk. And do you think you could help me maybe get a little quieter with my walking?
Well, as he looks up at you, if you took off the armor.
Yeah, but a lot of times things try to stab me with like other things, real sharp things. That sucks. And so the armor.
You see him sitting there thinking, I'll think on this.
Oh, thank you.
I'll have to when we bed down again, take off your armor and I'll investigate it. Maybe there's something I can do.
Maybe I just take a little piece of my armor off. I don't like taking off my armor. It's no good.
Well, I can't do anything unless I guess we could use some grease.
Yeah, what's grease? Oh yeah, grease. I like grease. Grease is good.
So he kind of he tells Ichabod, he says, save some of that grease and when it cools, let me know. We'll work on it later tonight.
That sounds great. Thanks.
So
and I'm going to resolve. Go ahead. I'm going to resolve by, all right, today I'm going to be quieter, not sing so much because I think there's something in the wind. And then I'm going to don my armor and it makes a lot of noise.
Okay. Yeah. You are noisy.
Or fasten everything down and get everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So the rest of your actions, since we're in rounds.
So Clem is going to take charge. Since Ichabod spent his time fixing us breakfast, I'm sure he's the last to pack up.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to take charge and get him packed up. I'm going to use my skill mentoring to help.
And what's the trait you bid?
Great. Militaristic?
I love it. Yes, you have that as a trait. You bid that. Now, normally, I would say that works because this is not a hard thing to do. But I'd like you to roll since you can use that skill and it kind of gets you used to using the mechanics.
Okay. So would that be men's?
Yeah, men's is good. Unless you're just physically trying to go fast, and then be corpus.
No. So it's a 4, so it's a success.
Yeah, so you get a success, and you're using your skill too, right?
Right, I added that on. It was +2. Right?
Okay, so 3 successes. You see,
it's +2 successes.
Gives you
I got you. Okay.
Right. It's not a +2 to the roll, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so obsession and skill are extremely powerful in that regard for lower tier stuff. Right. So 3 successes. All right, since you're using mentoring, there's no crits in this, but do you want to instill something in Ichabod? Obviously, he does not know anything about the military.
Right. Yeah. I want to, as I'm doing it, explain how to fold things right so that they fit smaller. All the little details like that. And I want to make sure he's listening, pays attention, so that he can get us breakfast and get packed up quick.
That's right. Yeah, I like that. So we're going to give him a little note. You have not just led the horse to water, you've trained it. As you kind of give him that military, do this, show him what's up. It's like in Band of Brothers. You don't need this, you don't need this. Clap on the ass, you're good. Right?
Right.
As he does all of that. And remind me, if this comes up again, Ichabod should be ready. Right?
Right.
As you guys continue. Oh, sorry, Connor. Your action.
Is this
So
same scene as?
Yeah, because Bob started the rounds. Everybody has to take a turn. Everyone has to take a turn.
Oh, okay. So he's first words spoken.
So what's the action you want to take?
I'll just help with unpacking. Sorry, with packing up, getting everything ready.
So
Consult one
role
last
play,
time.
Do nada.
Do nada. Just, yeah.
Yeah, do nada is great. So as you decrease the curse by 1, remove that take charge. All right. Does anyone else want to resolve, or do you want me to roll?
Just going to let you do it.
Okay. Nothing? And what about you, Connor? Do you want to resolve it yourself or want me to do it?
Let you do it.
You lucky bastards. All right. As no curse is very low, you pack up and you climb up one of the goat paths. It is obviously very steep.
Are the
Slow goat.
fires still? Can we still see the fires?
So you're not within the pass right now, but you're the mountains on either side are like a couple hundred feet away. So it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. You can smell the smoke, but when you look up, you can't see it. Right? So it's being obscured by the mountains on either side. As you start up, some of this requires a little bit of climbing and whatnot. We'll say you guys can roll corpus, or you can bid a trait to do this. It's on you.
Just roll corpus.
Yep, roll corpus.
Okay. You need one success to do it without any issues. If you get no successes, you still do it. It's just slow.
I got 3 successes.
Dragon Boy is like just salamanders the shit up that.
Yeah, I got 16. So is that 3 or 4?
So on
It's
each
by
die,
dice.
Oh, it's by the die. Okay. So it's 3 successes.
oh yeah. So yeah, the big boys are just like get that height advantage as you're at the top. What about you, Connor?
I got 1. I got a 6
Yeah.
on the roll, so 1 success.
You do it perfectly fine. You're just not 17 feet tall. Ichabod is right behind you. Doesn't seem to have an issue at all. Very lithe. And Cursewood, despite his appearance and whatnot, is holding his own. As you all are starting to get up, the two of you, big guys, you're up there for a good 20 minutes before the rest of the party gets up there. What are you doing in this time?
Push-ups, some sit-ups, crunches. You know, getting limber.
Yep, that's what he's doing.
Making
not
some
looking around
noise
at
though.
all. He's loving it. What about you, Clem?
Clem's just pacing back and forth, waiting, and occasionally shouting down, "Hurry up! Let's move it! What are you waiting on?"
From this height, you can see the fires. You can see, I should say, the smoke.
Okay.
You also have a much better view of the terrain, obviously. You are not on the summit of a mountain or anything, but you're on this ridge. We'll say it's a good 100 feet or so, and you can see how the pass continues. How when it rains, it's probably flash floods like a motherfucker, and it gets pretty tight. As it sort of winds out of sight, you actually do see the pass between the Western Mountains, and beyond, just here and there, you can see how it levels out into the foothills, the rolling hills, and way distant, if you've been out west, just you can see the flatlands that lead to Westick and the high plains deserts of Sut. If you got good eyes, you might even see on the horizon Black Rock, this foreboding, lonely mountain. That's all to the south. You guys are going east, though, and you see as the foothill continues down, think of like if you're in the Appalachian Mountains, like exactly like where it's actually rocky and such. So like North Carolina, I-40 is really what I'm looking at. Real mountainous. It's rough terrain. You see the path winding around, more mountain and such. And over the course of maybe 2 or 3 hills, roiling black smoke going up. You can see how it probably was a farm that's just on fire. This is a few miles from you, so you're not in danger right now, but it's pretty close. Off to the north, back, towards where Coblix is, you see a few other fires, smaller, but they're there. The terrain that you guys see is rough, and it gets rougher, okay? As you go east, you're getting into like the crag. Does that make sense? So don't think of rock climbing, think of like some tough hiking. All right, the rest of you get to the top where the big guys have been there for a while. Breathing heavy, Cursewood looking. He sees the fires. We should probably get going. Those are probably bandits.
Bandits are causing the fires.
He kind of looks around. Yeah, we should get going. As he starts moving.
Hold on. Which bandits would be setting the place on fire? And for what purpose?
I mean, I mean, bandits. Who do they, you know? He makes a lot of faces. Ichabod pipes up. Well, that'd be Olo, of course. He's sort of the bandit king around here, isn't he? Cursewood, for the first time, anyone who has been paying attention, make a men's roll or an animus roll. You need 1 success.
Yep.
I got 2.
It is plain to see Cursewood shoots a death glance at Ichabod. It's real quick, but it's a very hard look that tells you this. Cursewood knows who Ichabod is. And he just said something he doesn't like. But it's real fast. As Cursewood kind of continues. I mean, it could be Olo, I suppose. That's why we should avoid them.
Do you think that they are the ones that are causing the earthquakes with all these fires?
Cursewood and Ichabod both look at you very slowly. Like up at you. Ichabod says, well, my dragon friend, I suppose they could be behind the earthquakes, but I'm not sure how they'd make an earthquake.
It makes the ground really hot, and then it gets fragile, just like when you burn like paper or clothing, it turns into ash, and so the world turns into like ash.
That's right, poetic. Write a song about it, but I don't think it's how. Is that how it works? He kind of looks around.
I don't think so. So Ichabod, tell us more about this Olo Bandit King.
As Ichabod thinks for a second, well, there's many a tale as he whips around his guitar. Ring!
Like
Many a tale of Olo and his bandits. Ring the ding, the ding, the ding, 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 ding.
Can we have the unabridged, straight to the point version?
He kind of stops, pouty faced. But as far as I know, I mean, I just know tales, okay? As far as I know, he's a man of immeasurable height. He's 12 feet tall at least. Shoots fireballs from his eyes and lightning bolts from his arse. This is a great man. Anybody get the reference? Anyway. He can consume the English. Anyway. He's a great man, but he's a wild man, okay? He wishes to bring back the old times of freedom and anarchy, and some say he's plundered the ancient troves of Calgary and the Bone Stone City off to the east. Anyway, he's been around here for a while and has started garnering his strength, and bandits are flocking to him from the south, the east, the west. Some say he'll be the next Kagan.
So why would he want to burn the land that he wants to take control of?
Because he's shitting fire and like pissing carnage. That's what the little guy said.
As Cursewood is off ahead a little bit, like a stone's throw.
No. If Cursewood starts to move away, I want to grab him by the shoulder and reel him back in, because I want to stay at the edge. So if push comes to shove,
you're there.
I want to make
you're there. As Cursewood, you pull him back in as he kind of turns and he says, "Look, Olo is not some demigod." Because I'm not going to roleplay with myself. Obviously, Ichabod is taken back. He'll turn to you guys. I have met the man before. Okay? And he's not what he says. But I can tell you this. If if these brigands, whether they follow Olo or not, find us, they will take everything we have and they'll kill us.
What if we just say we want to join you guys? We came from the west.
Really quick, Clem, what do you bid in this moment? I love that moment. What is the bid here? What is the trade?
I'm going to go with rude and crude. And I'll throw my obsession with death on top of that.
Yeah, we'll give you an XP for that bit of our roleplay. As you all see, Clem just laugh at what Cursewood is saying. And what were you saying, Bob?
Oh, I was just saying, why not just join them? They seem like they don't know, do they? I mean, it seems like you guys are it in, so, I mean, we could just say that maybe we want to join this guy and get in close and then get him.
Connor, you can do an Animus or a Men's roll.
Men's.
Remember, you can add what you want to it as it is roll.
Is untrustworthy or untrusting
Yeah, definitely.
relevant?
Yeah.
That's an extra. Was that a trait is an extra die? Yeah.
No, a trait is nothing. If it's a bond, it's an extra die. If it's an obsession, it's a +1. If it's a skill, it's a +2. You don't need a trait for this.
Oh, okay.
Unless you're taking charge or role playing.
Well, I'm just deliberately observing.
The reaction roll. So it's just
reaction. Okay. Yep, 1 success.
When Bob suggests joining Olo, as you have been just absolutely glowering, watching like a hawk, Cursewood, you see that Cursewood starts sweating. He's nervous. But you see something in his eyes. He does want to join Olo.
Okay.
Now, this is the gut feeling, however you want to manifest it. I'm not going to tell you how to feel. But you're going to gain that little bit of dark about him. He wants to join him, but not right now. As Cursewood says, okay, I know you don't think, he's talking to Clem, I know you don't think, and he's trying to ignore you, Bob, with what you just said. I know you don't think they're formidable, but we should still, just for safety, as an arrow, flies by into the gorge. Cursewood doesn't even notice it. Clem, you do because you're looking at him, and it goes over his head. I'm telling you that if... Okay. You guys are being attacked. The action is on you. You're in the world right now. It's up to you what you do.
I've still got my hand on Cursewood's shoulder, and I'm going to drag him, lower him, and pull us both to safety. Yep. If there's any cover around, anything like that, so that the two of us
you are on the high ground, so you're a little bit exposed that way, but you just go to the ground and there's plenty of places to gain cover. Okay, as that happens, remember you're still in the world, so you don't have to do actions right now. Actions on you guys.
As I'm pulling him down, I'll just say to him, if we get out of this alive, I'd like to speak to you about your relationship with Olo, but maybe not now.
If we get out of this alive, then I'll tell you. All right, the rest of you.
I do want to take an action.
Okay.
I want to take charge. I'll bid loyalty. So as he pulls him down, I'm going to step in front of Connor, whom I have a bond with. I'm going to pull my hammer out and raise it above my head, like cracking my back as I do. And yell out, if you want to kill us, come and do it right in front of us. Don't hide up there like cowards.
I love it. As you're standing, let me give you some context, and this is for Bob as well, since your action is coming up. You guys you're on this ridge. You're on a pretty good amount of high ground. The arrows are coming from where you want to go. So the terrain is straight in front of you is rocky terrain. It's difficult terrain. You could traverse it if you wished. It would be easy to turn an ankle or fall. It goes down pretty far, 30, 40 feet into kind of like a crevasse, and then it goes back up. So there's that other ridge, and that's where the arrows are coming from. Okay, so they're not above you, but they do have cover amongst boulders and such. Think of it like you got your goat path. You guys are goat pathing it. You got your goat path that comes around this way and goes down into that rivulet, and then comes up around, snakes around to where they are. So they're ahead of you on the path. All right, as you say that, boom, as you do your bid, are you trying to aggro them or what? What's your goal here?
I want to intimidate them.
To make them do
try to throw off their shots, or to actually come out and finish the job.
So expose themselves. Just be kind of dumb. Okay, make your roll. We're gonna call this. It's up to you. You just have to, whichever aspect you want, but you have to make it make sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna use Corpus since I'm standing up with holding the hammer up, flexing, looking real big.
All right, so remember, you have all the different ways that you can make this better for yourself: obsession, bond, etc., etc. I'm going to give you a difficulty threshold. So normally I'd say this is difficult, which means it's a threshold 4, which is very high. Okay. The reason being, they're a group and they have the drop on you. However, they have seen 2 massive men, you and a dragon. So we're going to make it a threshold 3.
Okay. So I got 2 on the dice. I'll use the skill impact daddy because I'm using my hammer for another 2, and it's my bond.
Yep.
So is that 1 or 2?
It gives you another die.
Oh, another die? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, bond is really, really good.
7. So that's another success. So that's 5.
All right, so how many you got? 5 successes.
5.
And it was a 3. So there's no crits in this. In Dreadlore, it's every 2 and whatnot, which I might add to the game. We're going to say this is a bit of a crit. Yeah. How do you want this to play out?
I don't really know what their motivation is.
Okay.
Well, I mean, they're trying to kill us, but
Yeah.
if they're
Go on.
So if they're intent on having us dead, then have them draw melee and advance on us.
Okay. So for NPCs like this, I like to have some random NPCs or antagonists. As you see 4 of them pop their heads up. One of them, the named NPC, although I can give them all names because I have a lovely NPC generator. This fair-haired woman, she's got most of her teeth, scars on her face. In a weird way, Clem, she's actually rather attractive for a Denna. Brigandine armor, so a male and hodgepodge, think road warrior style. As she leans out an elbow on one of the outcropping, you see that they're shooting short bows at you guys. She kind of like has a smirk on her face. Look at this big man. What's her name, big man? As you see the other ones pop their heads up like moles to get a look, and you get this feeling that they're not really organized. They are bandits. So they're looking for Jink. They're looking for, your stuff, for information that they can bring back to their boss. They're probably here to kill you, but it's kind of up in the air. And you've sort of piqued this woman's interest. Tea's my name. Hey, a firelight. What's yours?
Hey, you, and I'll point the hammer at her. Call me Daddy.
Oh, I'll call you Daddy. As she pulls out this crossbow. It's the biggest crossbow. You've probably seen a bigger crossbow, but it's a big ass crossbow. And it is clockwork. Okay, so it's Theurgic. As she's like, think of a little mini ballista. Okay. Oh, you're Daddy, are you? And she's cranking the crossbow. What about your action?
I'm gonna take charge because that's what I do in stuff like this, which is not necessarily great for anybody, but that's what I'm doing. And I'm gonna use my trait Dragon Roll, which is new. To pull up my shield and my sword, and I'm just gonna go right into the fray. Like I'm not afraid of any of this. Consequences be damned. But I do have, it's a dragon roll, so my movements are a little preposterous to try to get to these.
You on all fours or something, or what are you doing?
Yeah, no, I don't go on. I mean, I got my sword and my thing. If you've ever seen a lizard walk on 2 feet, it's kind of like boop 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop.
All right, so the question is, do you go over the hill and through the fucking woods, over the boulders, which is very difficult, or do you run down the path and around this path and then try to get out of the... What's your strategy?
I'm gonna do I'm gonna do the boulder crawl.
I love it. As you fucking going over. All right, so you're trying to take charge and get to them. They're a little too far away.
Yeah.
For you to actually get to them to melee them. However, you can be there for the next round.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't get to them.
Depending on how you roll. All right, so you do your dragon roll. I'm thinking this is Corpus. It's a pretty athletic thing. And we're going to make this difficult, so it's threshold 4.
Yeah, and I want to use my skill sword and board to help me.
Sure. You got the sword and board out, and you know how they're balanced. Okay. I don't know if that really works. I don't sword and board, but it makes sense in my head.
I don't know. That is 3 successes so far, so it's not quite 4 successes.
Remember your obsession, your bond, and your skill.
Oh, and I'm going to use my bond with Clem, who is savage and just said some shit that makes me angry as fuck.
Love it. All right, make that roll.
And
so it gives you an extra die.
Do. Right, and that's a die type of Corpus?
Correct. It's whatever die you're rolling.
And that is an additional, so that's 4 successes.
Awesome. All right, so describe how you're traversing this terrain.
Clem's
like,
yeah, I mean, he kind of gave me a cry to move forward. It's like, we don't care about you, and I'm like, okay, we don't care about you. So I'm like Terminator 2 style, like jabbing the bottom of my shield to get a pivot, and then the other one, and then I have claws for feet, and I'm jabbing those in, and I kind of just like pull myself up like a crazy lizard being that is and they could probably smell me even though I can't get to them, so it's intimidating as fuck.
You all see an 8 or a 7 foot Zunts. You guys have heard about the dragon folk, the reptile folk, the lizard people, and how fearsome they are. As you see Bob, obviously the name he got when he came into port, and they were like, "What's your name?" And he's like, and they're like, "Right, Bob," and they wrote that down. As he starts ambling over these rock shards going everywhere. Every so often, he's like, "Ah!" Like does like a reptile, you roar, and he's crawling up oddly fast. It reminds me of a moment in season 1 of Star Trek TNG, if anybody likes that, where the Klingon or Worf moves really fast. Anything? Nobody? Nothing?
Something else.
No XP, it's fine. As you guys go up, or I'm sorry, you see him starting to go up, and you see Thea's 4 people, they're all going to be women. So she's like, sort of got a band of miscreants. A couple of them like back away, seeing the lizard and seeing the massive dude with the hammer pointing it at Thea. Thea, however, is not going to back down, as she has this Theurgic crossbow. Okay. Who wants to resolve their curse?
I will. Oh, go ahead.
It's up to you guys when it happens.
Here's what I'm thinking. When I stood up, with my arms raised, one of the last arrows that they had shot grazed my arm.
Okay.
And I lost a moment.
Sure. I love it. 1 moment down, and we'll give you an XP for taking it. All right. Okay. Who else?
I will say that my shield.
You're at dangerous, by the way. Okay.
Yeah. When I I gotta pull that thing up because all right. When I put my shield down, it wedges in, like I'm right at the edge, and I would have been able to strike her this turn, but I didn't get to it. And I wedge my shield down, and it's locked in there, and my hand is trapped in this position as well. So cool. I can't move it out of that. It will take some effort to
it's a little easier to hit you. Okay. Yeah. I love that. All right. And for Connor, what was your action? Oh, you didn't have action. It's on you. What is your action?
Right. Cursewood, what's the range on that pistol, and does it work?
As he looks down, oh, it works.
What's the range? Then quickly look around while these two are causing a massive distraction. Get to a position where we can find somewhere we can snipe it and attack these people from the side while all their attention's focused on these two brutes.
As he says, a couple 100 feet if they're not moving. Basically, it's 50 yards.
Right. Okay. Is there anywhere that we can go around the goat path? Because you said that they were further up. We'd have to go along.
Right.
And then now, are they further down or are they above us?
So they're about the same level. They're same level. So check it out. You're here. The goat path comes down like this, down the rivulet, back up to where they are.
So there's a valley between us.
Correct. Now, and the valley is about 30, 40 feet deep. Now, what is your action? Meaning, what are you trying to accomplish with this?
Move to a place in cover.
Well, what's the big A action? So take charge.
Sniper, take out one of the...
You're taking charge. Okay.
Yep.
All right, so you take charge. What are you bidding to do this action?
Hold on. Want to use Odysseus as an ability.
And Odysseus does, what does it let you do?
It's something to do with them doing the getting stuff done ruthless. Hold on, I'll have a quick look again.
So you know where to hit, where it hurts, and what to hit with. Basically, it's strategy.
Yep.
So it allows you to do very.
So use that. Yep. So hopefully, this is. So get into a sniper position, take out one of the guys. Using, I will let Cursewood take the shot, but.
So you're not going to do it. You're going to let Cursewood do it.
Yeah, but I'll be getting him into a position to get the best possible shot.
All right, so you're using Odysseus as an ability. What are you using as the trait?
Yeah. I have a trait, Ruthless, because I'm more than happy to kill these people in a cowardly fashion. Would men's be okay? Because I'm getting... It's all about the position.
Because you're instructing? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
with an ability, do I... Oh, sorry. So can I use 2 abilities?
No.
So Odysseus and Hawkshaw, because the strategy to kill one person, and Hawkshaw is finding, because I want to make sure that I'm safe and we're in a position to kill someone else. And then
that's the goal of
the trait that I'll use is And the trait would be ruthless.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so the goal is to get to a sniper position, have a very strategically defensible position, and that clear shot for Cursewood to take. And it's going to be up to him.
And ideally,
Go on.
So, and ideally, so that they don't know where the shots come from, because Bob and Clem are causing so much of a distraction that
I love it.
they won't even know someone's been shot.
So, do men's. We're going to say that this is rather difficult, but not too bad. We'll say it's a threshold of 3.
And do abilities give me an extra success or die?
Neither. Abilities don't give you anything mechanical. They simply allow you to be able to do something. So a normal person might be like, well, they can see where you're going, so you can't do it. But because you have the ability, it's like, oh, okay, well, the Arbiter can say, all right, well, the fiction allows that.
Okay. Bond, it's Clem, because working together as a synergy, and also one or less of them means better chance of Clem surviving.
Love it.
So I've got 3 die.
Do it.
1. And the last one. Yep, 3 5s. So it's 3 successes.
All right, meet it, beat it. As what did you? You've already explained it. Give us a brief description. What would Clem see? Because Bob is up there, like ready to rock and roll. So tell Clem what he sees you guys do.
We vanish off down the goat's path while so at the corner of your eye, you'll see me and Cursewood run off. While you're focusing your attention, you're threatening and calling out the enemy, and then the next second we've gone. We have vanished. As far as you're concerned, we've fled the combat scene, but since you know me from previous adventures, that means that I'm off doing some sneaky shit. So I haven't left you.
Okay,
I'll
so
just
he knows
be
that.
acting as
All right.
back. Yeah,
So how do we resolve this curse? Or do you want to roll?
No. The enemy will see us vanish, run off, which will then, as far as they're concerned, there was a group of 5, now there's only a group of 3. So these guys are even more confident that they can kill all of us.
Interesting. I like that. So you've actually sort of emboldened them in a way. With the strategy.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, cool. I love that. They are more dangerous because they're more stupid. All right. So an NPC is going to take this shot. All right. Well, I don't roll really for NPCs, and it's pretty much threshold type stuff. As in, like, does this number beat this number? That's kind of boring. I don't like that. So we're gonna have you guys roll for them. Cursewood is not stupid. He's going to go after Thea Farlight, the one with the big crossbow, who seems to be the leader. The threshold to hit her is 4 because she's pretty stout or capable. So, can we get who wants to roll one of the dice for Cursewood?
Yeah, sure. I'm with him. So hopefully listen to my...
Okay. Who wants to roll a third die?
I'll roll a die.
All right. These are D8s.
D8s.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Keep that in mind, players.
Whoa. 3d8. That's not, that's something.
Now, if you have looked at the book, they don't have skills and all that crap. They have a little bit different of ideas, but they are pretty potent. Okay. How many successes did you get? And I'll add that to his bow def, which is bonus defense. 1, 2.
We got 2.
All right, so 4, so 6. So he beats it by 2. All right. It means he gets 2 extra damage. And he's using a pistola, which is double damage. It is a heavy pistol. Oh, it's so much damage. I'm gonna have you guys. You don't roll it because I changed that rule. Sorry.
Yeah, it seems like it was. It's always you always do that certain amount of damage.
Yeah, you do. So, but it's a firearm. So heavy is +6, and firearm deals double. So 12 damage plus 2, 14 damage.
Fuck. I'm not gonna fight that guy.
As you see, the scene just happened, as Connor described it. As Cursewood, Connor, you see him pull out the gun, and he, kind of like 40K style, taps a few things on the side. He traces a little design, almost looks like maybe a rune of some sort. He says what sounds like a prayer. As you see the gun light up, whoop, 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 and start thrumming in his hand. As he looks back over his shoulder at you and says, "Brace my shoulders." As you see him start vibrating. As he takes a piece of what you would consider ammunition, it's glowing sort of an orange. This thing shines brightly in his hand. Heat. As he turns away, boom! You all see an energy blast, a laser beam, bisect Thea Farlight and the boulder she's in front of. It shoots through the mountain and burns a hole as you see fire. Cursewood is thrown back on top of you, Connor, as you guys slam into the ground, moving back a few feet. Burns.
As we get up, I'll lift him up off me and say, wouldn't have a spare one of those, would you?
You get an XP for that. As the antagonists have jumped out of the way, some of them have burns on their arms, as they're like, "What the fuck?" screaming and whatnot. As the dragon, you're sitting there trying to pull your shield out. Clem, we're going to say the action is on you. You have just seen this as you're holding the hammer up over your shoulders. What are you doing?
Let's see. I'm going to try not to shit my pants first.
Yeah, no doubt.
Then I'm just going to roleplay it.
So you're taking an action, or you're in the world right now?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I won't take an action.
Okay.
If I don't have to.
Absolutely.
I'll just yell across the little valley to the girls. So are you all ready to surrender yet?
As you see 3 of them poke their heads up. One is either unconscious, dead, or has run away. As they're looking at the ruin. And they just look at you and then look at the dragon. And then you see someone looking around because they can't tell where this bolt from God just came from. "We surrender!" as they throw their arms up and their crossbows on the ground.
I'm going to take this action because I'm wedged into the side of the crevasse.
You don't have to take an action. You're in the world. You can take an action. You don't have to.
I was gonna say I was gonna do nada, but
it's up to you.
If I don't have to, if we're in the world, then I'm just gonna say.
So strategy-wise, you guys are at 4 tallies. If you all took an action, which was do nada, you would lower that down a lot.
Yeah, I was.
But you're allowing the fiction to be taken by me.
Yeah.
So it's passing the ball.
I'm gonna do nada. I'm wedged in here. I think it's dangerous because
we don't care why. What do you do?
If I fall off, I'm gonna do nada, and that's what I'm gonna, and I just kind of like hang there because I'm wedged into the side of this rock.
I love it. All right, next actions. Clem.
It's probably going to be do nada. I'm just going to slowly stroll up the path toward them.
Love it. Connor.
They're standing.
Say it again.
The enemy, yeah. Sorry. The enemy's now surrendering, like putting their hands up.
Yep.
Right. Technically doing nada, but I want to move round, continue down the goat's path. Effectively unnoticed still, hopefully, and move around so that we can get behind them.
You'll be getting in front of them unless you go through rough terrain.
I will stick with the rough terrain.
Okay, it'll take you some time. So as you do nada, you don't really have agency here. Okay, anyone want to resolve this? Resolve your curse? Or do you want me to roll?
Do you have to
right now
resolve with do nada?
You always have to resolve.
To resolve the curse, I'm gonna feel myself starting to slip out from where my hand is wedged in the shield, and then I like start slipping down, and my shield is just continues to be wedged there, and I'm like, fuck.
I love it. What about the rest of
I
you?
can't get to it.
Resolve or roll?
But hold on, just so I can get my brain cell around this. If do nada reduces curse by 1.
Yep.
And so the curse tallies naturally drop down 3 times because all 3 of us.
Yep.
What curse are we resolving?
So you can always ask. Right now, you guys are at 1 tally, which means you're always at the very least, you're at curse level 1. There's always at least 1 curse level.
Okay.
And every action requires a resolve or a roll.
So even if it's an action, that's not an action.
Correct.
And it reduces. Right, okay. I'll just let you roll. Me personally.
Nothing. Connor? I'm sorry, Clem?
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Ooh, it's a 1.
Uh-oh.
As the exact same thing, you see the Buteau lose his shield. He kind of slips out of it, stumbles down a little bit. That shield may be stuck in there. Who knows? That's going to be the curse. It's a little minor inconvenience. Take you time to get it out. You slammed it down in the rock, and maybe the heat, I don't know, some bullshit. It's just going to be rough to get it out. So that'll be the curse. Okay, you're in the world. These 3 bandit women have their hands up. 1 is not there. As Connor, you'll get up behind them. Having gone through the rough terrain, it takes you a little bit, but you get up there. They're not going anywhere. It's about the same time that Clem is coming up the actual goat path. So you guys have them flanked. You saw 4 plus Thea. Thea is in pieces. She's dead. Her crossbow is still there, by the way. Maybe singed. There were 4 bandits with her. One of them is gone. So 1 got away, or is running and isn't in your obvious view right now.
Could I use Hawkshot to notice her fleeing?
So this is all in the world. It's on you guys how you interact. If you want to take an action, you can, or if you want to just sort of go you therefore.
No, I want to find her. So, do I have to make up a so for this action, because I'm taking an action, I would have to create a trait to bid on. Is that correct?
Yep.
So the ability itself is not enough to bid on, right?
The ability allows you to do it. Otherwise, I'd say,
Allows
she got out and she's gone. But if you're like, oh, well, I got an ability that's like, I can put together how to track her or how to find her or how to see her. Okay, well then you can roll on this. Because that's something
Okay.
you can do.
Yeah.
All right, so think about it. What about the rest of you?
Actually, I just noticed it's 4:00 here. Do we mind pausing this right here? Because I've got other things I need to do.
Yeah.
So can we pick it up here
pause
next
right
time?
here?
I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's cool. We are right about where we should be, which is you guys having either encountered or gotten around this encounter. And this is session 1, right? So, yeah, we're good. This is fine. All right, what XP are you at? All of you.
9.
9? What about the rest of you?
3, 6. I have 10.
What, in total?
Yep.
Yeah, I've got 9 in total from...
Okay. All right, so remember when you get to 12, you get to advance. So just let me know when that is.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys for hitting it up and all of the goodness. We'll be back.
I don't think.
Well, we'll message on the thing, but it'll probably be about this time next Monday.
Thanks for
All
right,
joining
sure.
our ND RPG live play podcast. All lowercase letters brought us some music with Mr. Interrupt, Couchfire Media, Art Media Production, Trois Belay Production brings everything else, and that's it for the Geeky Gamer Podcast live play. Anybody
See you
have
guys.
anything else to sell? Okay. Oh, did you guys want to promote anything that you guys are working on? You good? All right. Well, think
No,
about
I'm
that for
fine.
next time, and we'll share your promotions. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.